Are we wasting our time talking about crackers? Is it too small on the totem pole? What?
Relatively speaking, it's not such
Blow up what you want. And what more compensation for farmers? They don't pay tax, nothing. I've had enough of them. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
Good clarification. Because otherwise we wouldn't be eating. About 15 years ago, I had what you only later accurately diagnose as the midlife crisis. The one where you wake up one morning and ask yourself, "Main kaun hu?" Or more worryingly, "Main kyun hu?" China and the US are the two biggest emitters. China is also the place where the green economy has been built out. So the kind of advances that they've made on electric, the coolest cars in the world are not Tesla anymore, it's BYD.
Cyrus says, and we've got Hisham here who's feeling a little worried, I think. Just offline, he mentioned that he's seen a couple of the episodes with Viv Richards, Muthiah Muralitharan, big names. I sound like Donald Trump. Big names, large things.
Very big.
The show is so bad, nobody looks terrible at the end of it.
Okay.
The show itself is that bad. You know?
We will try not to disappoint them.
Yeah, so it's like really ugly parents and the child, no matter how ugly, is not that bad. Something like that. Yeah, if I could put it in perspective. But let me quickly introduce you. It's a little difficult to introduce you properly, but would you call yourself an environmentalist? Sustainalist? Let's make a new word.
Sustainalist sounds good.
Nice,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
It's huge. In fact, my daughter's gone to Spain to study, and one of the things is sustainability, because at least in the Western world, and to some extent in India, that's like a huge, I would say, market as well.
Yeah.
To explore from a perspective of career and things like that, which nobody would have thought of in the 80s and 90s. But your story is, look, I'll keep talking if you don't interrupt and make a point. The whole show will be just me.
All right.
And your sustainability will put, a link, sustainability below. But Hisham, firstly, the name, isn't that the same name as Veronica Lodge's father in Archie's?
No. I don't think so.
Hisham Lodge?
No.
Anybody from the 80s? Yeah.
Wasn't that Horsham?
Oh, was it Horsham?
I think so.
Bro. Listen, Alzheimer's has started.
Okay.
It's tough for me. I'm doing my best.
I think so.
Yeah. So he just corrected me. Hisham is basically Mallu and then traveled the world. And I think now he's more North Indian than Mallu because I think he's given up his soul to Delhi.
Yeah, I hate to admit that, but I suspect that there is some truth in that.
I'll tell you why. Because I had a friend, Vasant Valsan, who worked in MTV, and he was also Mallu descent, but bred in Delhi basically. So spoke Hindi like a northerner. Came here and, you'd hear the sing-song and everything. We went to friggin' Kottayam and then went to Kerala with him to shoot this bike show. And he was struggling with Malayalam and he couldn't read a damn thing. And I was like, what kind of Mallu are you, man? I don't need a Delhiite in Kochi.
So I might be in that
You're
similar
that guy.
category.
You're that guy.
There's a bunch of us, the NRI Mallus who grew up abroad. So I left India when I was 2, came back when I was 16.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak a word of Malayalam.
Yeah.
Apparently the first words that I said when I landed in Bombay Airport, as it was then called, was, "Oh my God, there are so many brown people here."
So you were racist also.
I
How
was
sweet.
Closet racist as well. It helps. But so the Malayalam accent is atrocious. I speak Hindi with a Mallu accent, Mallu with an indeterminate accent, and English with I have no idea what accent.
You traveled accent.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, but on the other hand, the world is globalized, and that's what you do in a sense also. We have to start thinking of ourselves as one family. And I think in many ways, the tribalism should be shut down after some time because it's ridiculous. Yeah. But we won't get into that right now because you're a man who stays on the middle path. Right. Let's go back to your life story. But at the top, we just discussed Diwali because my producer Shreya was, she's a young girl, very young, she's 12 or something. And she feels her lungs will never work again.
Right.
Because despite all government warnings, and I know it's come down from 2 decades ago, there's still, we had Fadakras yesterday in my lane. Some joker had given it to the staff or whatever, so they enjoyed themselves with a late Diwali. And it's those long bomb thingies, I don't know what they're called anymore, but they're just horrible.
I'm going to get a little geeky and
No, please be geeky. Only one of us can.
Climate change is caused by a combination of factors. There's, how you produce energy, how you manufacture goods, how you do agriculture, and also how you move stuff and crackers. No one thing
but is there
a major
hierarchy that we can look at? Are we wasting our time talking about crackers? Is it too small on the totem pole? What?
Relatively speaking, it's not such
blow up what you want.
No.
He said so.
No, I didn't say
so. You do what you want. Mrs. Parekh, take your 5-year-old stupid fat son and let him blow up what he wants.
Right. Thank you for rescuing me just before I was trying to sound...
No, in a sense, this is important because we have wrong information. Because maybe sometimes we're barking up the wrong tree. I mean, crackers are terrible, but at the same time, what is the key issue? Why is Delhi horrible when it comes to pollution?
So Delhi has a particular problem. It is horrible as far as pollution is concerned because of topography. It's like a bowl, and when the temperature goes down and the winds go down, basically whatever pollution that you put out there stays there.
Oh, it's stuck.
So it's kind of stuck.
It's
Mumbai,
like
for example, has a little bit of an advantage of the ocean, right?
Not really.
It has become less and less effective, but it still has at least one side a window.
Yeah. So we need an opening in Delhi. We need to somehow open Delhi up a little bit more and find some water.
That would help. That's right.
If I take you away from your train of thought, you have to learn to ignore.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Should you be doing unrestricted cracker burning? It's not helpful at all. Is it the major contributing factor? No. Why does it spike around Diwali? Because temperatures have gone down, winds have gone down. You've got crop stubble burning. You've got crackers, but you've also got the transport. Let's take crop stubble
burning separately, because that's another. I want to know exactly where it stands on the totem pole, as we mentioned.
Sure.
So now, because this is something that goes on, and what is the alternative to it?
Sure.
I mean, for the farmers and agriculturists, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
And how bad is that in terms of effect?
So roughly speaking, you can split it up as 1/5 each in terms of energy, manufacturing, transport, agriculture, and other sources of pollution. So
transport use of vehicles?
Vehicles, yeah. The non-electric ones, obviously.
Yeah, well.
Just clarifying. That's the challenge, right? It's not any one big problem that if you address that alone, you would fix it. You have to find solutions for each of them. And that's where it becomes, in a sense, almost easy to point a finger at a farmer in a particular season or a cracker.
But let's find if there are solutions.
Yeah.
Sorry, because it's a one-hour interview, so I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
What you people can't do across generations with millions of voices for crop burning and this kind of thing. Is there an alternative? Is there anything else that can be done?
Sure.
A process, I mean.
Basically, crop stubble is raw material for a host of other things. You can use it in, to create biogas. You can use it to recycling it in some form or manner. The challenge is cost. If you had to transport that from the farmer to wherever that facility is, it is logistically difficult, it is expensive. And from a farmer's perspective, the matchstick costs 1 paisa to burn it.
Right.
Vis-a-vis the cost that I would have to incur to move it, and I'm not being adequately compensated.
That's where the government comes in and offers some sort of, a compensation that we will help you by. And what more compensation for farmers? They don't pay tax, nothing. I've had enough of them. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Good clarification, because otherwise we wouldn't be eating. No, so the government can provide subsidy, but you still need to fundamentally arrive at a solution which is viable. If it's a completely...
But you can't beat cost.
You can't beat cost in the sense?
In the sense that if it's ridiculously cheap to do this, it's very tough to move people, veer them away from it, right? I suppose anywhere in the world, to make people think about sustainability and environment and all that against really cheap option will be tough.
It is. But there are always good examples. One of the things that I often give out as an illustration of, if you ever despair about climate change, I often tell people, go to visit Indore. And the reason I say that
That's where the 2 Australian women were molested by Akhil Khan on a motorcycle. I mean, how dare he? They were just going to a cafe to drink.
Right.
Indore's had a bad name for this week.
For this week. For this week.
But they'll bounce back.
No, but so I'll tell you my Indore story. I used to keep reading that Indore's won the cleanest city of the world. And I honestly used to think that these are a bit like Filmfare Awards. You can buy those awards. But you visit Indore and it is palpable in terms of the level of
especially coming from Delhi or Mumbai, where it's the other end.
Or anywhere else, most other cities. Indore has India's largest biogas plant. And it's a fantastic plant. It's a very impressive operation. But the real magic is not in the plant. The real magic is the raw material quality that goes in is basically food waste from the city. 90% of Indore's households segregate waste at their doorstep.
What are you saying? How did it happen in just one city like that?
It's a remarkable story. It's a story not told enough. So I'm coming back to your point about, do people care enough? Are people willing to do something? 90% of households. The moment you segregate waste at your doorstep is when recycling is viable. If you don't do that, you're forever fighting, like the machine breaks down, the
So it's a
economics
localized
don't
thing.
work.
It starts at the-
Absolutely. And it didn't start with some fancy project. It's the Indore city, the commissioner.
And it's ironic. Indoor protects its outdoor. Literally. It's fantastic, really.
I think that should be the tagline.
Yeah, should
But yeah, so there are examples like that. The challenge is you want more indoors.
Just can I ask you a more difficult question here, because I don't know if you can answer this. Why is it that they are doing this? Because the demographics are the same, right?
Yeah.
You'll have the same upper middle class,
Yeah.
lower class, whatever, rural factor, this, that.
Yeah.
So that's the same in all the big cities. So why is it that they've been able to educate or the awareness is there and not in other cities?
It's a good question, and I've tried to figure out what the what the cause was. And it appears to be the following things. One is you had visionary leadership at the city level. Not every
We're
city...
talking municipality level. We're not talking
the,
about the chief minister.
I'm talking about the city, the mayor, the
Possibly
commissioner.
even less than that. The building colonies and people, smaller unknown heroes.
It starts with the mayor and them saying, okay, we want to become India's cleanest city. And then I think what happened was after they won the award for the first time or the second time, then the entire population took that as a matter of citizen pride. So the city owns that.
Oh, nice.
And you can see it manifested in simple things like the uniform of the garbage collection team that comes. They are well dressed. They stand
Pride in
tall.
work thingy.
They have pride in work. There are.
You didn't notice it yet at IVM at all, right?
No, they're all right. They look happy, reasonable. I mean, look at them. They're smiling. That's a bit of an ironic smile, but the rest of them seem to be genuine.
Parents are doctors. Sense of failure is palpable. Yeah. Sorry. So the pride in
so
what
I think
they're
that
doing,
happened, and then over time it just kind of became a city thing, and they will fight to keep winning that award year on year, and they've been winning it for I think 7 times in a row now.
Amazing. Maybe the mayor came from Delhi. Once you've learned your lesson sort of thingy and made that top of the priority. But again, the sad part is I can't speak for Delhi because I don't live there, but in Mumbai I feel that the educated people let you down. Because if you come to our areas in South Mumbai also, you'll find waste everywhere. It's not like education alone per se is good enough for. Yeah. It's more like an awareness and an understanding and a conscience, a social sort of conscience, which is difficult to suddenly give people because they'll say the right thing in public and all, but nobody does it.
You're right. Education is not good enough, and I think one of the ways of where it manifests itself is when you get on a flight outside India and how quickly the toilet degenerates into a hellhole.
You're talking about our national carrier?
I'm talking about all
2 minute
carriers.
silence.
I'm talking about a number of carriers, but I think it's...
So he's one of those guys who when he gets on an international flight, counts how many Indians are there. This goes back to him as a young man saying too many brown people. The moment he sees Indians, he says, toilet mein nahi ja sakta bhi. It's too dangerous. Hazard to health. I'll just hold 16 hours to New York. No ma'am, I won't have anything. Yeah.
This podcast has degenerated quite rapidly, but it's all good.
But you mentioned aeroplanes, and here's another irony. Isn't that one of the big... when we talk about emissions, sometimes I wonder we're stopping one guy blowing a cracker, but above there's a plane flying.
Sure. And in things like this, what is the solution? Do we say, let us not travel at all?
That's what?
That doesn't make sense. That horse has bolted the stable. The question is, how can you make something like aviation more sustainable? And there are solutions around that. There's sustainable aviation fuels, which are, for instance, the use of biofuels for aviation is something that's possible.
Again, cost.
It costs more. And so the question is, are we putting enough R&D resources to bring down those costs?
Too many cheap people traveling these days. Make it more expensive.
Right.
You'll be a happier person when you go to the airport. I'm not getting racial issues in here.
Any overtones.
Okay. I understand where you come from. My good friend Kunal Vijayakar, hallowed be thy name. I remember going to London about 5-7 years back, and he just looked around and said, too many Indians. And he didn't say it with any sense of racism, it's just fear. Because, you're just worried that the whole European experience is now going to... He's not... Why? I didn't want to come to Shivaji Park, I've come to Hyde Park. It's like that. Sorry,
No, that's fine.
Just, you have children.
I do have. I have a kid. I have a 12-year-old son. 13-year-old, sorry, I forget.
Wow. Good father.
Oops, there we go.
Okay, let's go back to your story. That's about the Diwali thing. So don't just blame the crackers. We don't endorse them at all. Your story is very interesting. So... how did you land up? Because you travel the world, I guess, even when you were young, is it?
So this was, I'm going to reveal my age right now, but in the 70s, My parents, both doctors, went abroad. I'm from Kerala, and like all good Mellus, we went to the Gulf.
Yeah.
But mine were adventurous parents. They missed the usual hotspots of Dubai and Sharjah, and we got all the way to Libya.
My God.
Studied and
One of the
lived
great
in...
statesmen of our time, Colonel Gaddafi. I heard good things also, by the way. Huh.
There are some
That he did
remarkable...
a lot of electricity was free and education, women.
Absolutely.
Not what he personally did with women, that was another story, but women.
And I think what happened was in the early years of his whatever regime, he was actually remarkably progressive. Made healthcare free for all, education free for all, realized it did absolutely nothing, so then he made it compulsory.
Yeah.
He passed laws like the house that you live in is the house that you own. So in one stroke wiped out inequity in landowning. He brought the right to bring kids into the office if you're a parent.
Oh, nice.
Back in the 70s. And then it degenerated to the Ukrainian bodyguards and all of that stuff. So
female bodyguards only and
that's
all
right.
that.
We'll talk
but
about
then
less
if you're going
about
to be
those.
an alpha male in a country, you might as well have some perks.
Yeah.
Have you seen our bodyguards with our VIPs? I mean, they're horrible in their safari suits and all. I mean, I'd get myself a couple of Ukrainian girls. Oh, okay, stop it there.
Some of them are very impressive looking, I thought.
They're very powerful.
No, as in not the Ukrainian girls. I'm talking about the bodyguards.
Indian safari suit guys.
They're pretty smart looking guys and gals.
I don't know. I have no time for them because all they do is with their hands, all the time. Like I haven't assassinated a single world leader or
The
Indian
president's one is a minor celebrity, I've noticed.
Is it?
Yeah.
Already. I think Shah Rukh Khan had one who was a minor celebrity, and Salman Khan's bodyguard is very well known, better known than many actors. In fact, it's
quite likely.
What's his name? Shira. She knows all this. This is the pop culture that we've degenerated into, that they know the bodyguard of a leading actor and know everything about him, thanks to Insta. But, sorry. So
and we're still obsessed with the Ukrainian bodyguards. So.
Well, Chandragupta Maurya had topless female bodyguards. This is a true fact.
I did not know that, and you say that with a degree of conviction that I might believe you.
I'm a great leader, in many respects. But you have to understand, people are eccentric or whatever, and it's not like sexual deviance. It's just that you're the leader and you have whatever. But it's also based on the theory that women are more loyal than men, which is a proven sort of fact.
I'm willing to buy that. I'm not able to see from a security point of view why that particular attire would help.
Because you have some sort of technology now, using weapons of etc. etc. So,
right.
Oh, you mean the attire thing?
That's right.
Now that is something only Chandragupta took to his grave. That's the one question that keeps me up at night. Yeah, but these things are there. So interesting.
Yeah. So coming back to the we were in Libya, Malta, Austria, Nigeria, and then came back when I was 16.
That's a worldview.
Yeah. So I got called a white boy in Nigeria with this skin color. You can see how. But hey, it's all
I'm not
relative,
say anything
right?
Because I don't know where I'll work after this. Yeah. Then.
So yeah.
So racism is nothing for you. I mean, you've it's
been
book,
there, experienced.
But you landed up in AMU.
That's right.
Which is, I mean, it's a great university with a legendary sort of people who come out of there, etc. But with environmental sciences, I wouldn't think.
No. So honestly, I'm a relatively new entrant
into
the
whole
into the climate change space. I got to AMU to a slightly longer story, but my dad is no longer around. He was a Muslim. My mom's a Hindu, and we are abroad in this global gig, and my dad's telling me for the longest time, you should learn Malayalam. Now, as a 16-year-old, you don't listen to your dad most times, least of all when he says things like learn Mallu.
At 16, it's tough. Yeah.
It's tough. So we land up in Kerala, and I can't speak a word of Malayalam. And then I spend a couple of years somehow surviving physics classes where they're teaching in Mallu, and I know...
Are you kidding? That must
not
be tough.
knowing much Mallu, I know no physics, but that's a different story. And that time, the only thing I wanted to do was to get out of Kerala. Now, this is in the era before the internet, where your source of information was uncles. And this is really important because you knew nothing.
You mean they would tell you stories?
They would not tell you stories. They would tell you the definitive truth because you didn't have an alternative version of it. So I wanted to go to Bombay or Delhi, and one of the uncles says, you won't get, you've got decent marks, but you won't get hostels. And I was like, then why am I applying and, going to waste money and all? Then from the Muslim side of the family, an uncle tells me, son, go to Aligarh. It is the Oxford for Muslims in India. And
But do you speak Urdu?
I couldn't speak a word of Urdu.
No Malayalam, no Urdu.
Again, this is pre-internet. You didn't have a big map. When you look at the A4 size maps that you had,
Correct.
Aligarh looks like a suburb.
Yeah.
So I charged off on a 36-hour train and then got there. So no, it was nothing to do with climate change.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We shot there for MTV when I was very young also, and it was very nice. But I could see Urdu poets coming out and that kind of thing. I can't think of anyone who was close to an environmentalist over there. Very politically heightened atmosphere.
Yeah.
Lots of strong opinions, as they should be, I think, for young people.
Correct.
For better or for worse. But none of that. So that was just a normal education?
That was just a normal education.
And then what do you do after that?
And then I did an MBA, and then I started
so
a
there's
career.
a Mallu in you somewhere.
Yeah.
You couldn't escape the MBA. Huh?
There aren't that many Mallu MBAs, I thought.
It's more the generation thing than the Mallu thing.
Okay,
Because
fair
I think
enough.
growing up in the 80s and all that, everyone had to do an MBA.
Yeah,
We were like
yeah.
a failure.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So I started a career in sales, marketing, and consulting. And about 15 years ago, I had what you only later accurately diagnose as the midlife crisis. The one where you wake up one morning and ask yourself, "Main kaun hoon?" Or more worryingly, "Main kyun hoon?" And then I thought,
So Humour was a very profound point.
It was a-
I mean,
it
who
was a
can answer that?
question-
Google can't answer
yeah.
that. I don't know, man. Who knows?
This is where you're revealing your age. Chat GPT is the new Google, but that's a different
I'm
story.
so sorry.
Thank you.
But they keep warning me on the internet that don't do chat GPT. Like,
Who's
especially
warning you?
If you're an uncle, some joker's talking to me. If you're over 40,
Right.
don't turn to chat GPT and all. They keep saying that. Do you not get this?
Nope.
Oops. Ouch.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought I'd spend 1 year in the development sector, and that 1 year part of the plan hasn't quite worked out. It's been 15, but along the way I've been privileged to work on a number of really
Where did that
interesting
idea
areas.
come from? I mean,
I don't know. It was a midlife crisis, dude. You
but you
don't
want to get a
really.
girlfriend or a bike or a
correct.
dog or something like that.
The leather jacket
Yeah,
or
all
the
that's the
you know,
midlife crisis.
Oh yeah.
And the better ones learn languages or something, or tabla, I don't know. This is a bit
Sourdough
odd.
baking.
Exactly.
Yeah, that kind of
now
stuff.
you're
No,
talking.
So I thought I'd spend 1 year in the sector, but that part of the plan.
But let's let's rewind to the corporate world,
Yeah.
because you were active there as well. WorldTel, which we spoke
Yeah.
offline.
Yeah.
Very interesting, pioneering company, Mark Mascarenhas. So when does that happen?
So I start my corporate career at Hindustan Lever, and I'm perfectly happy until one evening I meet this guy, and I'd gone there on some brand promotion.
Which guy, Mark?
Mark Mascarenhas. And
Actually, you had gone to present something or whatever.
correct. We were trying to work out some kind of a
Right.
deal, and when you say visionary and how influential he was,
Pioneer.
go back to the days when you had Doordarshan alone doing the cricket
Exactly.
commentary. The camera was showing something, the ball was somewhere else, the commentator was talking about
you have
something
no
else.
idea. I remember the anchor coming in apologizing for giving you the wrong toss result.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just waiting there. There's no footage also.
Correct.
India, they toss, and then he comes back and says, Jeet gaya toss. I mean, it was just normal, all this.
And what he brought in Channel 9, the Australian TV company, and their production values. And everybody told him the Indian market just didn't need this level of sophistication. And his point was, if you provided a quality offering, the Indian consumer would pay. So he built out, a business there on television, as well as player management, folks like Tendulkar and Ganguly, etc. And this was around 2000, where this was the first internet bubble that we didn't know it was a bubble at that time.
It sort of, it burst at some point, but it was there.
It was just building up, and there was $1 billion to be made. And his point was, my core business is cricket. I need to find a way of getting into the internet as well. So I will have a website, but I'll also have a cricket magazine to generate content for the website. So we had a magazine called Cricket Talk. We had a website called Total Cricket. And I remember going to meet him, I think, for a 6 o'clock evening meeting. The meeting showed
This is where you're trying to lure him into Hindustan Levers.
No, I'm trying to sign a deal on some player
for some
or
client of
whatever,
yours.
some client. And the meeting starts at 10:30, 11. I eventually leave the room at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And at 9 o'clock the next day, I put in my papers, because I was incredibly impressed by the vision that he had and what he was looking to do. So effectively what I was doing was running operations outside of editorial, so the printing of the magazine and the circulation and distribution.
But in that evening of, I presume, drinks and food or whatever, you
Black
decided...
Label, actually. There was a bottle that
he
significantly diminished.
He bribed you.
Yeah.
Hindustan Levers give you shampoo. This guy gives you Black Label. Come on. What are you going to do? Yeah, fair. So, but that's quite a nice story, really. Yeah. If it's true, I don't want to...
Why wouldn't it be true?
So who gives up, a very strong job at a corporate in just a few minutes like that, make a decision? And because it also was uncharted territory. There was nobody else, and he was almost like a visionary who's telling you this is what's going to happen and just come with me kind of thing. But there's no precedent, there's no blueprint, there's no map.
The follies of youth is what I would blame it on.
And the confidence that we once had.
Those were the days. And the magazine and the website were both doing really, really well until Hansi Cronje made that phone call. And that's when the bottom fell out of Indian cricket.
Right.
And it was actually, we could lose any match, but people would still come back in and watch, and they would still buy the magazine, etc. But losing faith
in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. When you felt like you were being cheated, that's the first time that you saw TRP's, viewership of cricket matches.
People turned their back, but it was a temporary thing, wasn't it?
It was, but when you're running a magazine,
you can't afford to have losses.
Printing you don't make your money on circulation, you make your money on advertising. And every week we had a more scandalous cover because there was scandal to be covered, but you were losing money because advertisers were pulling out. So eventually
why didn't you put some money in with the bookies and make some on the side?
We hadn't thought through this,
you guys. You need a second visionary.
And throw in a crypto angle in there.
There you go. Now you're thinking. Now your mind is open. No more midlife crisis. Buy yourself the BMW 7 Series or whatever the big car is now. Okay, then we move on to... So then you have the midlife crisis.
No, then I moved to London and I'm working with Infosys. I'm in business development.
So Rishi Sunak and you must have been friends. If you're in London with Infosys and he's trying to date the daughter of the empire.
Right. I was trying to figure out the connection. No, there's a connection with Rishi Sunak which is beyond that, which is...
Not to do with Infosys?
Not to do with Infosys. I was with something called the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, which this is
They took the money. Poor kids in Britain are starving today because of you.
Rishi in his early days was an analyst in this hedge fund called the Children's Investment
Sounds
Fund.
Dodgy, but fair.
No, it's all kosher. And there was a philanthropy attached, associated with that. So I was with the philanthropy and he was with the hedge fund.
He had no political experience at that point.
I didn't know him at that time, but he had no political experience or aspirations.
You didn't stay in touch, so when he became PM, you could make that phone call and say, bro, two of my cousins need citizenship.
A visa, right? Okay.
Say citizenship, he's a PM. What visa, yaar? Visa, I'll get you. Okay, so then Infosys.
Yeah. And then the midlife crisis.
Which happens in London?
In London.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you decide I want to work with the environment and the world and obviously do more than, what is the word, self-actualization moment or something. I have to do something for
the word is purpose.
Purpose.
I was seeking.
What is my meaning in life?
That's right. I didn't actually move into the climate change space. It was the broader social sector space. So I started in public health and then I worked with
all Wikipedia. This in England?
No, then I moved back to India. So back to Delhi, or not back to Delhi, but to Delhi, and I work with the government in public health for a couple of years, with Wikipedia for a couple of years, and then with the Children's Investment Fund, and now with this environmental organization.
Okay, just stay exactly where you are. We'll take a quick break and then come back. There's lots more to talk about now. Now we come into the significant climate change part of his career, which I presume will be the career now going forward.
I hope so too.
Unlikely to. Do you get 2 midlife crises? Are you allowed that? Can you turn your back on humanity and say, I hate all this, and then just become like a selfish old man who scratches his groin and stares out of the window and spits?
It is vivid imagery and a tempting proposition, but...
don't you ever have these thoughts, or is it just me? Okay, we'll take a break.
It's time. Create the life you've always dreamed of. Join me, Ashton Doctor, on a journey of self-discovery, productivity, and wellness. In just a few minutes, we'll bring you practical insights and actionable tips to help you build positive habits that stick. Tune in to The Compounding Mindset, brought to you by Access Mutual Funds. Subscribe to the podcast now and start your transformation today. Don't wait, Do it now. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
All right, back here discussing all kinds of things. But I want to. I remember when I worked in this terrible company called MTV, we did this World AIDS Day, December 1st, where one day a year we committed to AIDS awareness and then never again for the rest of the year. And I think you were very active in that. I don't know if we ever worked together. I don't know if you were around at that point, about 99, 2000, I think it started.
So we worked with the Staying Alive Foundation.
Yeah, Staying Alive Foundation,
correct.
of course.
So I don't know.
Distributed condoms to kids. I mean, most of them underage, felt so bad. I was like, Bunty beta, you're 12, no? Keep it for later. He wanted more on a weekend.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, just kidding. So just take us through that, because I remember Bill Gates and at that time Melinda and Bill were married and they came down with $100 million US.
Yeah.
And so we all MTV got involved in a big way and we did a lot of stuff, not just in India, went all over the world as well. So I was very fascinated with the fact that they would come down with this big package and say, here's the money. And I don't think it was any audit done or anything. Please try and create AIDS awareness and make sure that this thing is controlled. To some extent, it was.
It was controlled to a very large extent. Remember that when the HIV pandemic was raging through Africa, there were countries with like frighteningly high levels of prevalence, 25%, 30%. Exactly.
Shape, yeah.
India, we never had that, but we had them concentrated in particular communities. So female sex workers, long distance truckers, there were particular communities where HIV prevalence was really high. So one of the things that the Gates Foundation did was designed what they called a hotspot intervention strategy. So they would concentrate on condom distribution in where there was large concentrations of sex workers or
But you also had to communicate it. And
truckers.
this was a very awkward thing for us to do as well in our limited way. How do you communicate this whole thing to a lot of people, males, basically, who it's very personal.
Yeah.
How do you bring up this subject with a stranger? Then there's a class issue sometimes that you're talking to someone who thinks you're talking down to them, etc. And then at the end of the day, males of all types are hesitant to wear protection.
Hesitant to wear protection, but also you've got that stigma of I don't go to a shop and say, can I buy a condom?
Yeah.
Or if I get it, can you please give it to me in that, brown paper envelope or
I
wrap it in newspaper?
I still don't, and I only masturbate now. So I mean really.
Well,
I'm sorry to bring that up.
happy for you. What can I say?
Guest wants to leave.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Whatever rocks your boat.
Yeah.
So there were multiple issues, and
Like how do you tell a trucker in the north, for example? It's not going to be an easy conversation to have, no?
it is not an easy conversation to have, but it is an essential conversation to find a way of talking to them in a way that they will listen to you, and you can't be
So do
preachy.
you put fear?
No, fear rarely works in HIV prevention, in just about anything. Tobacco smoking, cigarette smoking, for example. For the longest time, we've had those
bad
ads that
ads
say
where they
you're
show
going to
you-
die. This is
or
going
they
to
show
happen.
lung
Correct.
cancer victims and
Correct.
all that. Yeah.
The things that seem to have worked on tobacco are those ads which say your partner wants to kiss you because you smell good and you don't smell like an ashtray. Those are the more positive aspirational
Is this
advertising.
partner available?
Finding ways of talking to them in ways that are aspirational and mature rather than talking down or scaring them was
I
was
think it's
the
a damn tough one. I'm my limited capacity. But what was your role then?
So the government had, partly with support from the Gates Foundation and other organizations, there was a national condoms program where we were distributing condoms across the country. There was a long distance truckers program, and there was also a program for intravenous drug users. Because exchanging syringes was also a source of spreading of the disease. So we were running these interventions across the country. So that was my role.
Mm-hmm. And when you look back, I get my dates wrong, but about 2000, 2001, 20, 25 odd years have passed. We were able to sort of nip it.
Yeah.
Or do we not have real figures and things there? But people also have this thing about, are we sure that we have it under control or we just don't know?
I think there's reasonable data to tell you that for the most part it has been controlled. But as with all these things, you've got to just don't take your eye off the ball. Always helpful to stay in touch. But yeah, for the most part, this one problem has been addressed to a large extent.
All right. So Hisham is now in the middle of the environmental sort of movement. And do you have goals? Where did you go from here? Like, do you have ideas where you want to go, or you're just it's one project after another?
So there is a big idea, which is India's 1.4 billion people. We are the 5th biggest economy in the world, but we're also an economy or a population where average incomes are really low. Rural incomes are even lower. Half the population depends on the rural economy, and they are on the front lines of climate change. We don't have a choice but to grow as a country. We need more jobs, we need more manufacturing, we need more industry, we need more energy. All of this will mean more emissions if you do it the way we've done it in the past, or the way the Chinese or the North Americans or the Europeans have done it. The vision is, can India become the first major economy to industrialize without carbonizing? And it sounds
So what does that mean?
What does that mean? That means that I grow at X rate. Let's assume I need to grow the economy at 6, 8, 10%. I'm not growing emissions at that same level. I find a way where I grow faster than my emissions growth. How do I do that? Firstly, by using more renewables, which there is a lot of action that's happening on solar, etc. How do I use energy better? So much more emphasis on energy efficiency. These two things on their own can deliver significant growth and economic value and jobs while reducing emissions.
But you mentioned China just now, and isn't it, again, I may be wrong, but isn't it a fact that China actually is one of the worst when it comes to emissions?
Yeah.
So what have they done? They've not really embraced any green movement.
So right now, if you look at the world, China and the US are the two biggest emitters. China is also the place where the green economy has been built out. So the kind of advances that they've made on electric, the coolest cars in the world are not Tesla anymore, it's BYD.
The Very careful, we were looking at him for a sponsorship.
Oh, there you
We'll
go.
just edit this
Yeah. Tesla's cool. Tesla's great.
What a guy, what a human being. He's got big pectorals also for a man.
I have never noticed his
I don't know
pectorals when you
why I
come to think
distract
of
you
it,
with
but anyway,
body
I'm
imagery.
just now stuck on Elon's pectorals. So electric vehicles, solar panels, the global push on
So what they
renewables,
export or what they have?
and what they've exported, how they've
Well,
been able to
exporting
bring
is
down.
more like a show thingy. But what in China are they redressing it actually?
Yeah. So China's got one of the fastest scale-ups of renewables anywhere in the world. And look at it from a Chinese perspective. They don't have they're similar to India that way, that we don't have as much sources of fuel. So you want to reduce that dependency. If you do renewables, you can either do it because you love the environment or you love your economy, or you can love both of them at the same time. I don't want to be dependent on imported oil and gas.
But aren't you betraying your people?
Which ones?
The Gulf?
Those guys, yeah.
What will happen to them if you suddenly the world says no to petrol and gas and all that?
Interestingly, Saudi Arabia is one of the world's biggest investors in renewables.
Right.
Because they're also seeing
They
that this
realize they'll
isn't
run out
something that is
also.
going to happen forever. So battery technology, the advances that China has made. So it is true that China has a large emission footprint, but the kind of investments they're making in the economy of the future are stunning.
So where do we stand then?
So where we stand is there's 2 or 3 things which are really positive about India that I want to just call out. One is the political atmosphere on climate change is really stable in this country.
Consistent, at least in the last few years.
It's consistent. It's not, we don't have wild conspiracy theories.
We didn't say anything bad.
We don't believe that windmills are killing whales or other such weird stuff that is being spouted in some parts of the world.
Is that a possibility?
That windmills kill whales.
Changes the tidal.
It's very difficult to imagine that, but
Wow.
it is what it is.
Cervantes is back.
So that's one. The second is that survey after survey will tell you that 70 to 80% of India's population believe that climate change is real and climate action needs to happen. That is a good place to be
I
in.
don't want to fight with you, but I can't believe that figure.
It's fairly consistent.
As you go up and down the economic
Absolutely.
disparity that we have, are you saying that it's all over 70%, or is it just in urban
No.
so-called educated sector?
India's farmers are, your best barometer of climate change, and they are the ones who see the changing monsoon patterns and the heat waves and the impact on their crops and the impact on their livestock. So they are not in denial. They know that this is real. So that's a good place to be. The third is it's not a party politically divisive issue.
No, it's
not. We don't have parties fighting over it the way you have in other countries. So all of that is really good. The second is India is beginning to show really strong advances in some areas. We sold 1.5 million electric vehicles last year.
Bro, I don't want to argue because I'll look like an idiot. But I've seen no growth in our city. I don't see more green vehicles. Do you?
No, you would
It's
see.
about the same.
Just look around at the number of green number plates. It's palpable. You can see them. Compare it to what it was 5 years ago. And the interesting thing about this 1.5 million is the majority are scooties and three-wheelers. And that is good because China isn't making scooties and three-wheelers. They're making cars, and we should be making as many scooties and three-wheelers as we need to, because we need them for your last mile e-commerce deliveries, and you need them for transport and stuff.
Also, if you can't afford a car, the old-fashioned,
yeah. So that's one. The second is there are industries where India is regarded as amongst the greenest in the world. There's an odd one, which is cement. And you think of cement as this really emission-intensive, dirty sector. But India's cement is regarded as amongst the greenest in the world. And the reason
What does that mean?
What does that mean? 85% of raw material is waste product from thermal power plants. So the fly ash is used as the core ingredient. 60% of the energy that's used is from renewables.
Okay, so you're using wastage to make. So in that sense, you've sort of...
Waste to as the raw material, renewables for
So waste
as
is
the energy.
future. We have to somehow the other embrace waste.
Embracing waste is a really big, powerful area where we've been doing it in the past.
Professionally speaking, I'm waste. So I'm just thinking.
We need to find a way of drilling a
Here
hole and
waste personified.
No, but that whole thing about frugal. We're not a country of excess, except for shadis. Okay, that we keep that aside for a moment. But remember what happens in
so
in
middle
your
class
households.
India, definitely middle class. The way we were raised also is
Correct.
Every rupee has to go a long way.
Every rupee has to go a long way.
No wasting food.
You don't waste food. The boxes that anything comes in at home, you still have all of the boxes that are used and recycled, etc. All of that is good. The way you used to get your moongfalis and all of that.
The paisa basulify attitude of the Indian is very strong. Whatever you get, you got to squeeze the mango till there's no juice left. So in a sense, that's a good thing.
That is a good
Sorry
thing.
about my analogy. It's almost sexual. I apologize. I'll change it. Give me an analogy fast.
Never going to be able to eat a mango again after
never
this.
again.
But there goes my favorite fruit.
Can't squeeze anything anymore. Think of me smiling.
Oh dear God.
I'm so sorry. Apologize again.
No, but just that culture is something to hold on to.
So you're saying the mindset was already there because this is the way we've been for the last decades. Growing up, I can think most people were like that.
Correct.
Around you as well, trying to get the, let's say, bang for your buck, in a sense, not perhaps with a noble motive, but you'd always try to do the most you can with the little you have.
Correct.
That definitely is the Indian way.
Correct.
So that's a great thing for us. But if you have to advise people out there, I don't think it's just young people. We keep saying young people, screw the young people, everybody, because old people sometimes are so rigid. We don't want to change at all.
Yeah.
How do we get into this whole sustainability and environmentally conscious movement, so to speak?
Sure. So
in a small way first, because obviously we can't stop the aeroplane flying.
No, you can't stop the airplane flying, and actually you might not want to stop the airplane flying. But there are small things that each of us can do in our lives. You can buy an electric vehicle if you're choosing to buy a car or a scooter.
Can we argue that point slightly?
Sure.
The reason why I haven't done it, me and the wife, finance minister, we discussed it a lot. But the big reason is that filling that damn thing every day. And then because we have a place outside Mumbai also. And the whole fact, you'll have to get one of those really expensive ones with a big tank which allows you to, otherwise you can only do so many kilometers and you fill it again. And so there's a little bit of that.
How many kilometers away is that?
It's about 200.
200. So
200,
most cars would be able to cover that. You don't
have
have to go.
You don't situation.
You don't have to go at
I'll be stuck with my wife in the highway.
So that's charming, no? Isn't
then she has to protect me from dacoits and all that, and she may not. She may say rape him. Oh, take that.
Who are we protecting against?
Take that off. That didn't happen. Yeah.
No, so 10 years ago, when electric cars first came in, remember the range that they had? Look at what they have right now.
Yeah, it was ridiculously low, right?
It was ridiculously low, but it is improving every year, and the costs are going down as well. So it is going to get better.
That's important, but do we have charging stations everywhere?
They're being built out to the extent that right now, you can travel 200 kilometers safely on most cars. Most
so city driving
cars.
Not a problem. City driving I've accepted, and the night you charge it again, etc. Mostly, so that's not such a big problem. If there's an emergency, you don't have a second car, then maybe. But anything which is long distance, and in Mumbai and some of the cities of India, your thing just goes on and on sometimes. Journey.
So where would you find electric cars being the most profitable? It's actually within a city. Your Uber and Olas, etc. of the world, because they are being used for many hours in the day, and there's lots of
there's no servicing really to be done also. So you do make money over the years from the lack of money spent on servicing, I would presume.
The cost works. Right now it's more expensive. It works out if you're using it a lot, which is why scooties and three-wheelers end up being very, very profitable from an electric view. So there is clear advantages to it, and keep in mind that technology is going to keep improving. You're going to get faster charging, more batteries. All of that will change. So time to revisit the proposal.
Honestly, I'm asking you. You think there'll ever be a time when electric vehicles will be the norm, and it'll be almost impossible to see conventional vehicles? Could that really happen? Or
I think that is inevitable for one simple reason, and it's physics. And sorry, I know I said earlier that I know nothing about physics.
Picked up nothing you said. And by the way, in Marathi we say physics.
So
nobody will understand.
Right.
If
you take a traditional petrol or diesel vehicle, you lose significant amounts of energy in the conversion of that fuel into movement.
Right.
Electricity gets you 80% of the energy goes into movement.
Much more efficient.
It's much more efficient. So the energy case is really strong for vehicles. So I can't imagine a situation.
Do you have an electric car?
I don't have any car, but that's a different story.
You're a Marxist?
No.
You finally found some Malayali roots to cling to. The last Marxist.
No,
so would you be getting? Would you buy an electric car?
So I am trying to persuade people that I want to buy a Bajaj Chetak electric scooty.
Okay,
But various generations in the family have shot down the idea.
Why?
I think it has something to do with the fact that I don't know how to ride a scooty. So that's a starting point. And then we build from there. Your target practice for the truck drivers, etc.
So your kids and grandkids soon will be bringing you those scooters to train you on and all that. Just think of the 3 wheels to make sure. Come on, uncle. Wow.
The closest I've got so far is a Lego toy set of it. So that's what we have.
That's amazing. A man who's traveled the world, had all these very important jobs, worked abroad, worked everywhere, lived everywhere, and you don't drive a vehicle and you can't ride a scooter.
But I want to.
But at this age, the only person I know in urban India who cannot ride a scooter and drive a vehicle is
I can't drive a vehicle. I know how to drive.
You know how to drive?
I know how
you
to
just
drive.
didn't buy one.
I didn't.
Okay. But scooter, you don't know how to ride?
The family don't believe.
You and AMU and stuff like that. These are all places where two-wheelers are prominent.
I owned one big green cycle. I still remember it. It was very lovely.
But let me explain. Green is the color. Green is not an electric. They all, wow, kya baat hai. Hey, he had a green cycle. What a visionary. Kab se? It was just green in color.
It was just green in color. No.
So speaking of Ubers, there's this ridiculous non-science observation, because we've had a couple of these incidents, especially with the two-wheelers, where they've caught fire.
Yeah.
Once that happens, people's mindset is like, oh, I'm a little worried to be stuck in this car because I have a sense that there's a chance of.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ridiculous, but it is there.
Sure. And it came in the newspapers. And what I'd ask is, how many times in the newspapers did you read articles about electric vehicles that traveled from point A to point B and didn't catch fire? You don't see those stories out there. Statistically, the number of problems that are there are really, really tiny. Should safety constantly be looked at? Hell, we're looking at it on phones as well. Why aren't you allowed to carry large batteries in an aircraft? So we do need to look at all of that, but it is not anywhere like the safety issue that it was made out to be.
Yeah, there's also the petrol industry fighting back, trying to promote stories. You never know.
One has to assume that there is always a little bit of that dimension.
In India, like to politicize everything. There's got to be a reason.
Not just India.
That's fair.
honestly speaking, these kind of underlying conspiracy theories
Pushing
are
stories
much
out.
stronger in other countries. Luckily, we're not there.
Wow. You can tell us one?
The fact that people are allegedly stealing your stoves or taking away your fridges in the US. Nobody's stealing your stove or your fridge.
Oh, but that's just the one mad statesman.
It's not a mad statesman issue. There is a reasonable percentage of the population that has started believing that, and there is a whole. It's become part of the culture wars.
If you're from the US and you believe that people are stealing your fridges or whatever, no visa to India. I'm telling you right now, we are going to be very harsh with foreigners now.
Right.
Very harsh. This kind of banality and stupidity, we have to draw a line, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, I interrupted you quickly before we run out of time.
Yeah,
so, what are the things we can do?
Yeah, the small things that you can do are how you use electricity. Simple things like turning off the fan.
Bro, don't put my ACs off. One is not even working.
We could work around with that a little bit.
What could we do? Come on, let's be practical here. What could we do? Because it's a studio, the equipment has to remain cool, etc., etc. The gas, blah, blah, blah. Lights are a lot. We need that for the lighting, for the look. I don't know. Do we have electric lights? I don't know. Do we have?
So Mumbai city is actually unique in the country. It might be in other cities as well, but certainly it's there in Mumbai, where you can specifically ask for your electricity provider to give you renewable energy. So you can make that small choice, saying, hey, let me buy renewable from the grid rather than anything from the grid. So that's one thing that can be done in the city, and that's great, and I wish it happens in other cities as well. The other thing I would say is, if you're a kid, and let's talk about kids for a moment, sustainability is going to be, there are going to be two defining career options: artificial intelligence and sustainability.
True.
And there's also
That's what I
AI
told my
and
daughter.
sustainability. Did she listen to you?
No, that's the reason why we didn't go to law, because I come from a line of lawyers, but finally, and she got into a few places, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Got a long story short, but then we had a conversation with another advisor who said sustainability, she's good at the humanities, these kind of subjects and all. Give it a chance, because that's going to open up a whole slew of professions, which are going to be the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and it's so exciting. If you have an engineering mindset, there's a whole host of engineering that needs to be done. If you're interested in agriculture, there's climate smart ag that you can work on. If it's geeky economic stuff, there's a whole bunch of things that you can do there. It is really the most exciting profession that you could choose to work in. The other part is, if you're not a young kid looking at a career, if you're a manager in a company, right now your sustainability function is one little vertical in that company. We need sustainability to be there across the board. Every function needs to be thinking sustainability. The procurement manager, the person who's finding the trucks to transport your goods with, your factory managers, etc. Start training yourself on sustainability, because it is going to be a necessary skill. So that's what I would say in terms of what you can do.
Does Uber offer like electric car option and petrol car option and all that? And
Uber
is there a price differential?
It's actually cheaper.
So electric is cheaper?
Yeah.
So they're doing their bit then?
They're doing their bit.
Yeah,
So they're doing their bit, but consumers need to respond by clicking on that electric option.
If it's cheaper, we're Indians, for God's sake. Even the great Ratan Tata would have said, I'll take the electric. I mean, we're Indians.
When I came here, for example, I had two choices. I had regular Uber and I had green Uber. The green Uber was a 5-minute wait. The regular one was 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's the other issue.
You can, 3 minutes is
No, but what's the cost differential? Like 5%?
It was about 5%, yeah.
It adds up. You take an Uber 200 times in the year and then suddenly it adds up.
It will add up.
You can buy a pair of underwear. Sustainable ones. Just wear it the other way. That's sustainability. That's what I do. I don't change them. I just turn it around. Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday.
I'm worried about Wednesday then. What happens on Wednesday?
Then
we go back to Monday.
No, then my wife needs a hat. I do wash. We do wash. Right. Yeah. Okay, before we say bye, so what do you do? What's your life like outside work? Do you have any hobbies, things that are interesting? Or?
I binge on Netflix and streaming. I listen to music. I spend time with my kid. The usual stuff.
Are they interested in?
I have only one that I know of. Oh dear God, this is on the internet.
Scary. Environmentalist on one hand, but when it comes to the ladies, a little bit of a player. You're a player, man. You're a player.
Oh dear God.
Yeah.
No. The younger generation, they care a lot more about
But it puts pressure on your son as well? The fact that your dad's like walking the walk, talking the talk when it comes to green.
No. Kids don't respond to anything like that. They are constantly out there to call out your hypocrisy, so it's all good.
But it's a tough one. It's a tough one because we live in the modern world, as you mentioned about the planes and stuff. I don't know. Whenever we do these things and speak to people like you, it's always a bit of a tough one because you can't have 100% blanket on green.
Yeah.
It's just never going to happen. I mean, from hospitals to airports to just workplaces, etc. Yeah. But will it make a difference? This is a horrible question to ask you as we end, but will it make a difference doing the little things, or it's just too little? It's like a drop in the ocean.
No. So each one should do little things, and governments and companies should be doing the much bigger things and doing them much more urgently than they already are. So little things on their own wouldn't shift the needle, but everybody working together, absolutely.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much.
Coming.
My pleasure.
And hopefully the world will get more green sooner than we think.
I hope so too.
AC Bankar.
Cyrus says every time, Cyrus says, जब ये कहे तुम सुनो, please. तमीज से बात करना है ना, important people यार.